Welcome to Policy on Demand's Week in Review. I'm Scott McCandless. The House and Senate may have been away from Washington this past week, but all eyes were on Congress and what it will do to prevent a looming government shutdown. The federal fiscal year end closes at midnight on Tuesday, September 30th, and after that, there is no funding in place to keep the government open. There have been nearly 24 government shutdowns in the past half century, and the most recent one in 2019 was also the longest, lasting 35 days. For most of us, the effects are often little felt. This is partly because the government divides into essential and non-essential workers, and most of the functions with which any of us interact on a day-to-day basis remain unchanged. Planes still fly, airport security still in place, Social Security checks still go out. But the political ramifications are significant. There will be a concerted effort by both parties to assign blame to the other for the shutdown and seek to use it to political advantage. The shutdown is likely to end at some point, but the questions then will be, 1, what concessions, if any, were made to bring about the resumption of government funding? And 2, what acrimony remains between the parties that may jeopardize future funding or other government lawmaking processes? Remember that the current funding bill being debated, which the House passed last week, would restore government funding with no changes to other policy. This is known as a clean CR, or continuing resolution. The House passed bill also only provides a very short-term extension to November 21st. Then the process would have to be conducted all over again. So this funding dispute is likely to dominate any other congressional action or consideration for the foreseeable future, and possibly through the end of the calendar year. In the meantime, we are closely watching other developments, including the ongoing talks among OECD member countries seeking to fulfill the summer's G7 promise to find a way to modify Pillar 2 to hold harmless the United States and US companies. Progress remains hard to discern at this stage, but there still is time for a deal to come together. However, each day of delayed result increases speculation that Congress may reinitiate consideration of Section 899. Remember, that provision would impose tax consequences on countries deemed to impose discriminatory taxes on US companies, and was removed from the One Big Beautiful Bill Act in response to the G7 promise. But its reconsideration remains a hot topic in Washington tax circles. We are also keeping an eye on tariff policy. The Trump administration requested expedited review of a key tariff court case, and the Supreme Court will now hear that case on November 5th. A decision could be issued by the end of the calendar year. The administration has initiated at least a dozen investigations under other trade powers, such as Section 232 national defense considerations, that could result in other tariffs or potentially replace any tariffs struck down by the courts. Other items on the radar include potential scheduling of a Senate vote on Don Korb to be IRS Chief Commissioner, whether and when a new IRS Commissioner candidate will be named, and when we may start to see Treasury guidance to implement the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. Even with Congress briefly away, there is no shortage of action in the policy space, so stay tuned to Policy on Demand to bring it to you. Thanks for watching, and take care.